And vitamin C is absolutely required by the system. It's the cement that holds all those cells together. And there are actually some studies that show if you have the right amount of vitamin C per gram of blood, it's impossible to get sick. That's how powerful it is.
Hi there, welcome back to another Real Talk with Dr. Jim Sharps. Great to have you back with us. And as always, we appreciate your time dropping through our channel, and hopefully you find the information you find here valuable. So great to be with you back again, Dr. Jim. Mm-hmm. We're continuing, for those of you that are regulars of the channel, you know that we mix it up between individual kind of videos as well as series. We're in the middle of a series right now, and it's really entitled Natural Health Tips for Happier, Healthier Life. That's really where we're focused on as we kind of transition out of summer and into the autumn season. So we'll continue that series. It's a 5-part series. So we'll continue today with really going over superfoods, Dr. Jim, and how really you should include them. There's so many superfoods that go around, and how should they be included, in your diet. So maybe could you just start with an outline of what a superfood is?
Yes, a superfood is designed to significantly enhance the functional integrity of some organ or the system in general. They're called superfoods because they are rich in something that the body needs. There are other considerations which we'll kind of go through when we go into what my favorites are, but that's what it is. The thing that you have to be careful about is the human being needs a variety of foods. Unlike animals like a horse who can eat either oats or grass, we need a vast variety because we need some 84 different minerals on a regular basis. The body, the liver is creating billions of enzymes a day. So it needs a variety of sources. So it's kind of a misnomer in terms of talking about a single food that you can get along with. But there are certain foods that actually do have a tremendous punch to it. And the thing that you need to be careful about, and the power of your question is, in order to be super, your body has to be able to accommodate it and use it. Because anything that you eat that you can't assimilate or eliminate is a poison. So even though it's, quote, a superfood, if you can't use it and you get an overaccumulation, it can actually have a detrimental effect on the system. So I like your very powerful first question.
And follow-up question to that, Dr. Jim, are all superfoods created equal? You mentioned it's related to what your body needs. Are all superfoods created equal and you just have an equal amount of all superfoods, or is there a more intelligent way to approach superfoods, air quotes?
Yes, very powerful question again. And the answer is there is a difference. One superfood to one person can be a poison to another person. A lot of it depends on your body chemistry at the time, and to be able to assimilate it. And that's why you hear me talking a lot of times in a lot of our different series, keep hearing me talking about RBTI, or what is the pH of the urine and the saliva, which gives a very good indication of how the body is handling foods, and more important than that, not only is it what it's handling, but what your deficiencies are, and then consequently, directly to your question, what your requirements are. The nice thing about superfoods is that they do tend to go across a variety of different body chemistries, and that's why they're super, because they're very adaptable and they're very usable to the broader spectrum of people. So hopefully that kind of helps put some perspective on that very important question that you asked.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. So again, we always try and have some very practical takeaways from any content that we put out. In terms of maybe running through maybe one or two superfoods, Dr. Jim, that kind of connect in some commonalities in your decades of original medicine practice, where you've seen, hey, these are some very common superfoods that if used intelligently, can really elevate the baseline of health from, for a wide cross section of people. There may be one or two superfoods that you could say that maybe aren't so common, but can have a really big impact.
Yeah, well, let me tell you two of my favorites, and then I'll mention a couple of others in passing. But one that a lot of people might take for granted is very highly available, very inexpensive, and has a very powerful effect on the system. Believe it or not, is onions. Onions belong to a genus or species that also includes things like garlic and shallots and leeks. But one of the things that a lot of people don't know about vitamin C, about onions, is one of the best bioavailable forms of vitamin C. And vitamin C is absolutely required by the system. It's the cement that holds all those cells together. And there are actually some studies that show if you have the right amount of vitamin C per gram of blood, it's impossible to get sick. That's how powerful it is. So it can kind of put a seal around the cells, and viruses can't get in, bacteria can't get in. And vitamin C, remember back in the day, scurvy. The sailors that went out to sea, without the vitamin C, they got all kinds of skin issues, etc. So vitamin C is very, very important for skin issues. It's a very powerful antioxidant. You've heard of this super nutrient, quercetin, which helps the heart. It helps the kidneys. It's anti-cancer. So there are a whole host of what are called phytonutrients that are in onions. And it's so versatile. You can put it in soups. You can put it in salads. You can even make an onion soup. You can make a little poultice or heat up a little bit and put it in your ear. It kills infections. So that's one of those very, very powerful, very available, very common foods. And it's a very good source of potassium and a whole host of minerals. Potassium is very important for the brain. So that's one of my favorites that you don't hear a lot of people talk about. So I wanted to kind of mention that because that's so available, and it can help with so many different issues. And as I said, you can use it in soups, salads, dips, toppings, tacos, stir fries. It's just a very, very powerful superfood. Another one of my favorites is grapes. People heard of grapes, either the green, white, purple. You've seen a lot of the thing about how a glass of wine a day is good because of the resveratrol. Well, they come from the grapes. And the most bioavailable form of that resveratrol, it happens to be in grapes. I actually use diluted grape juice to help a nursing mother with her baby who is losing weight. And in this particular case, even though mother's milk is the best thing for you, for a baby, in this particular case, the mother's health wasn't that good, and so the baby wasn't flourishing. And only because they've been my client for a while before they had their first baby, they kind of listened and they gave the baby the diluted grape juice, and after 3 days, the baby started gaining weight. And people don't realize even mother's milk is mostly water. It's 87% water, 7% fat. It's about 3% of 3.5% fats, and then it's only about 2.5% protein. So that whole myth about all this protein you need, as you know, the fastest growth you have in your entire life is the first 2 years, where you grow to half your adult height. And even there, with mother's milk, it's telling you that the least important of those is protein. So that resveratrol, it has a whole host of other anti-cancer. It's very good for the kidneys. It reduces oxidative stress. It's minerally dense, and it's very available. It's ubiquitous all over the world. So those are two of my favorites. And I'll just give a quick honorable mention, if you don't mind, to some others, just so people can realize how powerful and how available some of these superfoods are. One that would be on my list is citrus fruits. And that's the whole gamut, the clementines, oranges, tangerines, etc., which also has the vitamin C. It's rich in a lot of essential oils. It promotes a whole host of health issues. So citrus fruits, even though it's not one food, it is a superfood in terms of that species of food. And then, if I may, I'd like people to really start paying a little bit of attention, a little bit more attention to the leafy green vegetables. Those are superfoods in the full spectrum. The reason why I mentioned that, Seth, is because, there's just such a wide variety that you can pick from that somebody will like. So you might not like kale, and you might not like collards or spinach, but there's endive, there's the microgreens, there's watercress, romaine, chard, arugula. There's just a full spectrum, and that is a superfood. So you gave me a chance to do a couple more, hopefully, besides the two that you asked for. But those fit that category of being nutrient dense, mineral dense, and it has those essential minerals that the body needs for systemic functional integrity.
Oh, that's very clear, Dr. Jim, and I think yes, we will try and find some time to circle back as we close out the series. Kind of maybe a kind of almost a deleted scenes version I can feel coming along later on. So do watch out for that when it goes live. But just to close off this kind of topic and video today on superfoods, Dr. Jim, are there any superfoods that you see and you watch and you review different sources, as I know you do very regularly, that is heralded as a superfood, but actually yes, when you scratch beneath the surface, it's not all that glitters is not gold? Is there maybe one superfood that you would not quite class as a superfood?
Not really. Let me tell you what I would caution against. I'd caution against trying to make something that really works real well apply for everybody. As you were talking, I was thinking of coconuts. Some people basically go through wax eloquently about all of the value of coconut, and it is a superfood in a lot of respects. Avocado fits into that. Camu, you hear about certain herbs, etc. You hear about ginseng. You hear about ginger. You hear about turmeric. You hear about these, and I guess what my concern is when people over focus on things that are generally good. And the point I would make is, I go back to what I started with. Superfood is based on what your body needs at the time. So it might be super at one time, but then if you overdo it, it could be a problem. But to be very honest with you, there's a lot of really good advice and counsel. There are a lot of people that are very passionate about a certain food, but I always kind of would like to encourage exercising one of those real important ingredients of any health system. Use good common sense. And the thing I would caution is these superfoods, their superiority or their superness is based on individual requirements and capacities. You hear me say that a lot. So that's the factor that I like people to consider. Look at their individual circumstances, and again, whether you're male or female, are you young or old, are you sedentary? So there are a number of factors that are involved, and I really would caution against just the categorical imperative that this is the one thing that you have that's going to make you a millionaire or it's going to take you from here to there. But there's a lot of really good advice and counsel out there. And as you said, I listen to a lot of it. And the only thing I get concerned about is trying to make that sound like it's going to apply to everybody at all times. So I encourage people to do as much study as they can, listen to a variety of people, but then use good common sense and just understand this factor of it's not super if you can't assimilate it, and if you can't assimilate it, if you can't eliminate it, that superfood will become a very inferior, problematic food very quickly.
Yeah. Dr. Jim, thank you so much. Great that you were here to share with us again today. We'll leave it there for now, but I hope you found value in kind of going over this content. If you do have any questions or feedback, please do leave us a comment in the questions and comment section. We really would appreciate it. And until the next time, we'll see you then. Bye for now.
Bye for now. God bless.